2nd December 1984, approximately 4,000 people died, and over 5 lakh people were affected that night after the leak of methyl isocyanate gas at the Union Carbide India Limited pesticide plant in India. This accident is considered to be one of the biggest industrial pollution disasters. Many victims of the tragedy still live with severe illness, and the newborn from the areas around the plant develop serious diseases. In order to spread awareness on managing and controlling industrial disasters to prevent the pollution produced by industrial processes and human negligences, and to make people aware of the importance of pollution control acts, December 2nd is observed as the National Pollution Control Day. A very good evening to our today's guest speaker, Professor S.C.SANTRA, our respected principal sir, teachers, faculty members, and my fellow mates. MHRD is the organization named as Ministry of Human Resource and Development. This organization comes under the Ministry of Education. MHRD is responsible for the development of the necessary infrastructure for the education sector. The main objective of the MHRD is to form the new education policy effective. Many smaller goals, such as development of education, infrastructure, improvement in learning, the streamy innovation, and many other goals are formulated from time to time by setting up an institution's innovation council called IIC. Consequently, IIC-BIT has organized a conclave to celebrate National Pollution Control Day. This eve, we have gathered together to emphasize on ways to lessen pollution by enacting a conclave, be a part of the solution, not a part of the pollution, presented by the institution's Innovation Council of Bengal Institute of Technology. Now I would request our principal sir to say a few words so as to commence this event. Sir.
Yeah, thank you, Farin Begum. Okay, you have nicely started the event. So before I say few words, I formally welcome our Professor S.C.SANTRA, who is a renowned person in Bengal, particularly working on, say, pollution, water pollution. So I also welcome our IAC President, Professor Orpita Chakraborty, and Professor Shanti Sheena, Vishwajit Maiti, and all the students and also the IAC team for organizing this event. Because these are the events actually we need lot of awareness, particularly amongst all the students. As you know that air and water pollution both are very much important. When we are located in Bengal, we are more concerned about water pollution. But if someone is located in Delhi, so he is concerned both the air pollution as well as the water pollution. So because I worked a lot on water pollution, so I would like to share few words on that before you get the complete idea from Professor Shantra. So when we are in the lower Gangetic plains or lower Gangetic basins, it has the problem of, say, geogenic contamination like arsenic, fluoride, nitrate, and also in some parts iron. And Miss, our 90% of, say, groundwater in the rural sector is used for domestic purposes, and also say 50% in the urban area is from groundwater, and also next is our, say, about 60% groundwater is used for irrigation purposes. So that means our rural sectors are mostly dependent on groundwater. But whereas our groundwater is polluted, surface water, by and large, you can say in the lower Gangetic stresses, it has the problem. It has the problem of mainly fecal coliform microbial contamination. Threat is coming towards emerging pollutants being disposed of in the say open air, that finally goes to the water body. No? So water pollution is emerging as a big challenge for us. So the topic conceived here is the be a part of the solution, not the part of a pollution. Well thought of program conceived on the National Pollution Control Day, and you have chosen the right person to talk about this topic, Professor Shantra. As I have been going to his CV, he has got huge biodata. He has, I think, about 50 PhD scholars and also 50 um, students publications in reputed journals, and also he's still working. And so I think he will be able to give you more insight about the water pollution if he is touching this area today. And also, Miss, air and water pollution now in country like ours, these two topics are emerging as a big challenge. So students, particularly those who are dealing with the biotechnology side, they'll have to work on this topic very seriously. And all other say department like CSC, IT, and ECE, they can also contribute, or they can also work on say technology development with regard to the say data analysis, machine learning, IT, or artificial intelligence in all these things. So in future, Miss, I can just give you some topics, but today is not the right forum to talk about this. I formally welcome and heartily welcome Professor Shantra to share his viewpoints. And also, again, I thank to my IAC team for organizing such a good event, And I'm happy to note that our students have come forward to host this particular talk in the form of say comparing or in the form of say encore of this particular event. So I appreciate the IAC team to conceive such type of approach. So without going further details, I welcome Professor Shantra to this talk. So over to the organizer. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity.
Thank you, Principal Sir, for sharing your notion. Now I would request the President of IIC BIT, Professor Orpita Chakraborty ma'am, to say something.
Hello, audible?
Yes,
Karin?
very much.
Yes,
Very
ma'am.
much.
Thank you. Thank you for good evening to all of you. Let me take this pleasure to welcome all in today's conclave. Be the part of the solution, not a part of pollution. Yes, it's a really topic of discussion now because pollution is all around. Just when I was trying to connect my phone for network, it was showing air index quality is very poor, do not go outside. So our own inventions are showing us that what is the severe conditions around us. It's really severe now. So whatever, we are organizing with the IIC team, Institutions Innovation Council, Bengal Institute of Technology. As you know, it is an MHRD initiative, and with in this light of innovation and startup, we're also spreading the same hype among our students so that innovations and startups can be taken forward in further steps. Throughout the years, we are trying to organize several seminars, webinars, motivational sessions, workshops, and as a result, it's my sheer joy to share with you all that yesterday we have just received the result 4-star rating from MHRD. From the eastern zone, only a few colleges actually have received this rating, and we, Bengal Institute of Technology, is one of those colleges who have received this prestigious 4-star rating. This year, 4-star rating is the highest, and this is because for all of your kind cooperation and participation. So I take this pleasure to thank all of you for your participation. I hope in this year, 2021-22 version also, we will have the same cooperation and enthusiasm from all of you. We are looking forward for that. Today we are honored that we are having such an eminent personality, Dr. S.C.SANTRA, Professor Sir, with us. And as Principal Sir has already said, he has illustrated this topic few. But today, yes, it is not the right time to discuss all these things elaborately. We are eager to hear from our eminent speaker, sir. And on the later half, we are having a panel discussion from our dear students and our own faculty members. So we all are waiting eagerly. Thank you, all of you. Thank you, Farin.
Thank you, Professor Urpita Chakraborty, Madam. Am I audible?
Yes, Shanti, you are audible.
Yes, as Principal Sir, Professor Urpita Chakraborty, Madam, and Farin said, National Pollution Prevention Day is observed with the theme of raising awareness around pollution along with the government to adopt policies that can help in reducing various effects of pollution. To celebrate National Pollution Control Day from IIC-BIT, we have organized a conclave with 2 sessions. In session 1, we have Professor S.C.SANTRA with us. Let me introduce our today's guest speaker, Professor Subhash Chandra. He is an ex-professor in Environmental Science Department of Kalyani University and ex-coordinator of Environmental Information System Center on Environmental Biotechnology, sponsored by Ministry of Environment and Forest, MOEF, Government of India. He has done his MSc, PhD in botany and PRS in science from University of Calcutta. His area of specialization are environmental biology, environmental biotechnology, microbiology, ecology, limnology, psychology, and toxicology. He has been awarded a number of fellowships and awards such as Premchand Roychand Fellowship from University of Calcutta in 1982, Austrian Government Fellowship in 1985, DAD Fellowship in 1990, IVP Fellowship from USA in 1993, DST Visiting Fellowship in 1996, UGC Visiting Guest Faculty in Fellow of guided more than 64 PhD scholars on environmental science. Over 50 students have been completed their MPhil dissertation on various aspects during 1991 to 1997 and 2005 to 2008 on environmental science. He has successfully completed 17 research projects funded by various agencies like UGC, DST, MOEF, Department of Forest, Indian Council of Forestry Research and Education, Department of Non-Conventional Energy, West Bengal Pollution Control Board, Rajiv Gandhi Technology Mission, Department of Environment, Government of West Bengal, etc. He has over 200 research papers in referred journals, 30 of number of text and reference books, several conference and seminar articles, over 70 environmental impact assessment reports. He is also a regular reviewer of more than 15 journals. Professor Santra also holds life membership of various scientific and institutional bodies such as Indian Science Congress Association, Indian Biological Association, National Botanical Society, Indian Aerobiological Society, and an expert member of UGC Committee, MOEF Expert Committee, State Biodiversity Board, West Bengal State Pollution Control Board, Central Pollution Control Board, member of State Environment Appraisal Committee, nominated by MOEF Government of India. He is also examiner, moderator, reviewer of various University of India and outside the India of different PG and PhD programs. He has visited various laboratories in Britain, France, Sweden, Germany, USA, Bangladesh, Australia, Taiwan, China on assignment. Welcome, sir. Welcome to Bengal Institute of Technology. We are eagerly wait to hear few words from you. The session is yours, sir. Sir, over to you.
Good evening to all the participants of this webinar. And you have a lengthy introduction. Well, long period of time I am in teaching profession, 73, and I officially retired in 2017. So it's a long period of time in teaching the faculty. So definitely I got opportunity to work on various areas. In fact, in the area of pollution, I'm a basically biologist originally. In 85, when I started environmental science in eastern part of India, as per UGC directive, I left Presidency College and joined in Kalyani University. And then I started the work on pollution. Before that, I'm basically as a biologist, I did microbiology, ecology, and other areas. Well, it's very uh, difficult for me to discuss all these issues because uh, webinar we cannot present express properly, and the time constraint is there all the time. So I worked on water pollution, air pollution, noise pollution. It's in Calcutta. The first kind of noise pollution which pollution control board support we did, and thereafter the noise laws, regulation, all these are implemented in by the state pollution control board. So that's a very interesting situation. The people, doctors and physics people, those who are collaborators in this program, they are no more today. Anyway, that's it. So today, at Professor Ghosh emphasizes that I must speak something on water pollution. Uh, in fact, with respect to Bengal, water pollution is a major focus. Around 8-9 districts under arsenic contamination, groundwater arsenic contamination. Almost similar type of situation with respect to fluoride. With respect to nitrate, also all the agriculturally activity where the district having high agricultural activity input, they have nitrate contamination because inorganic nitrogenous fertilizer are used for agriculture. So we have all kinds of problems. Comparatively, iron, except the certain pockets, we have iron. Now, another problem also there we are facing, and you are all aware of the salinity of groundwater in the whole of a major part of South 24 Pargana. There is a water becomes saline, shallow water becomes saline. Only the deeper water it can be consumable. Uh, I don't know your situation in Jadavpur University campus. I know the water already saline. Many areas and beyond Jadavpur or eastern part of there are, and not only that, some area had salinity, some area had arsenic uh, problems, some area arsenic and fluoride problems, some area have arsenic, fluoride, and nitrate problem together. In fact, uh, it's a to know the problems. it's a part of a job, but more important part, how to make it, how to make a solution of it, what you wanted today's evening. Whether how can you manage uh, the solution of this? It is a very complex issue because there are some solution in technological, there are some solution in a science based, there are some solution with administrative control, legal control. All these issues to be together to be balanced to make a solution. If I talk about arsenic issues, in fact, first arsenic contamination was reported from Nodia, the uh, area where I spent 30 years of my career, that is Kalyani. So in Nodia is the first report of arsenic contamination in the 1980s, early 80s. And then almost all one after another, North 24 Bargana, Murshidabad, Malda, all these area having arsenic contamination, arsenic problems, and there are maps were prepared. In fact, 90s onward, rigorous uh, analysis was made on groundwater, particularly with respect to arsenic contamination and their prevention, and the people's affected, how to overcome the problem. So, and how to get the non-contaminated arsenic water. So, initially, people thought about water is the problem. Latter part, in 2000 onward, we find the contamination of groundwater is not only a problem, but simultaneously, this water on irrigation, arsenic contaminated water on irrigation goes into the food chain. All the crops are contaminated. Rice is a major crop where there is a waterlogging irrigation is there. And so, in fact, as a biologist, we are attracted for arsenic in the food chain. In fact, 2000 to 2000 till now, we are working in the same area. Many of our ex-students are working in the same area, arsenic. And subsequent period, we find the same situation prevailed with respect to fluoride also in the food chain. And we try to find out how to overcome these problems. In fact, today I will speak only a small part of it because it's time. You have a problem of time constraint. I know that the area is how to, the how if it is in the food chain, it's a greatest problem. Through food chain, it goes into the human system consumption, and small quantity when enters into the body and gradually it build up in the body and symptoms of various kinds you can find out. So we start in the latter part of our work. We started with one thing: how irrigation with arsenic contaminated water, in spite of irrigation with arsenic contaminated water, food chain accumulation will be less. With respect to rice, we have started the work in fact in 2014 and 15, and we have given some kind of uh, other metals in the early stage of growth of the rice in the laboratory condition, and what is called seed treatment with probing other kinds of metal probing, and we find uh, uh, zinc and selenium separately, sometimes selenium, sometimes zinc. When you apply the uptake of arsenic, even if you apply the arsenic contaminated irrigation water, uptake of arsenic in the crop system, including the uh, foliage, including the grains, will be much reduced. So just one side of it, we started working and with this probing with other metals. The other side is varietal response. In Bengal there are around 200 varieties of arsenic, 200 varieties of rice are growing. including the local varieties and the high-yielding varieties, and which of the variety which accumulates more, or which of the variety which accumulates less. Because we have to find out the solution. Not only one path, a variety of paths we have. So one sense we try to provide the arsenic removal treatment from the groundwater. The other sense, so that is for the domestic supply. The another sense, we have to look for if it is a arsenic contaminated groundwater, how to uptake can be regulated, and so all these issues we have to find out as a solution. And simultaneously, uh, our target is clean arsenic water, arsenic free water. Our target is to get clean, the food chain contamination, so that we can, when there is a small quantity of any metal entered into the body, it can be excreted out. But if it is a continued process, but if the concentration is very high, it accumulates in the body, and in the long run, it has a problem. And what happened with respect to chronic arsenicosis in Bengal? Uh, Today, there are a lot of areas, there are piped water, lot of areas, there are different kinds of arsenic removal technology at community level. So all these issues are there. Same is true with respect to fluoride. Uh, Initially, it was first reported from Birbhum, and then some blocks of Birbhum, and then you can find the Birbhum in that 8 and 9 districts, including the Bankura, the Hooghly, Howrah, northern part of Purulia, even in the northern part of the because many of these uh, contaminants has geogenic. Uh, Professor Ghosh already said at the introductory remark that the geogenic, that means in sedimentary deposits are there. And of course, in the case of fluoride, it is with respect to uh, the rock disintegration, rocks weathering process. So the cause and consequences are well known. Our target is to how to reduce, how to make a solution out of it. So there is not a single solution. There is a number of other kinds of solutions. So this is with respect to contaminants like metal. I talk about, but there are other contaminants. We are little aware of the problem of pesticide and herbicide. Glyphosate we are using indiscriminately as a herbicide in the field of agriculture, and glyphosate is one of the major problems, major contaminant of water, groundwater, surface water. So we have little data, but the alarming data. The just like metal, the pesticides in the crops, pesticide contaminants in the fishes, also equally disastrous. We need to understand their problem, and we try to find out different types of pesticides, which are short acting, target specific and short acting, which degrades very fast. We need to have that. Nowadays there are new kinds of solutions, that the biopesticides. Nowadays we are looking for integrated pest management. So these are different ways of solutions. So solutions at our hand. Our only thing is our wisdom. We have to take our wisdom in a very great, in a proper manner, in a balanced manner, in a coherent manner. We have to take these issues. I must say a few words with the air pollution. Also, we work sometime in air pollution too, because Harim already introduced the Bhopal tragedy. And in fact, Bhopal tragedy is a one-time issue. That means one night, thousands and thousands of people die or sick or all this because of leakage of the toxic gases. But every day we inhale in city in mines area, in industrialized area, huge pollutants in regular basis, and that reduces our lung capacity, that causes a number of COPD problems. This is the winter time. We are not safe at all. Children and the old age people are more prone to air pollutants. But it's not that the other people doesn't, but the people having the chest problem, and especially, because of we talked about immunity, body immunity. The immunity, if the organs are not functioning well, how can you get the immunity? In fact, why the COVID is gaining momentum? The reason is we are all in urban areas, exposed to air pollutant. Our lung is not functioning well, and the respiratory distress already there, and the COVID accelerates the problem. So, as you aware, if you search the internet, in a world highly polluted air, with respect to air pollution, highly polluted cities, most polluted cities out of 20, major 20, you will find there is a report that is most of the Indian cities, say 10, 12, 13, 14, is highly polluted, extremely polluted with respect to air. So we have a problem. We are facing a problem. We need to have a solution. We are emerging that the air pollution is primarily industry, not necessarily industry. The vehicle is there, the building construction activities are there, agricultural residue burning is there, the urban area, the solid waste burning is there. So there are multiple. We are yet to get the detailed database, which sector contributes how much. But solution, until unless we specify all these, we cannot have solution. We have to find out the solution. I remember a couple of years back, National Green Tribunal entrusted one job, that what is the scenario of the air pollution in Calcutta city, and whether the pollution control board is doing the right justice or not. In fact, this job was given in connection with a case. One of the environmental activists, Subhash Dutta, was asked this case in the Green Tribunal, and Green Tribunal asked us to see the scenario. In fact, since then, about 5 years back, since then we are yet to find out. Our observation was to find out what are the sources and how much contribution of each of the sources. But it is yet to settle. The Pollution Control Board, Government of West Bengal, is yet to settle the contribution made by different sources. Because until you cannot make out which are the major contributors, and how much percentage are contributed by them, how much by industry, how much by vehicle, how much by building, how much by burning of the waste, and all this, domestic and other. So this is again one of the major area. We get some information, but not the complete information. Delhi, why did it? Delhi, winter climate is quite different. Already fog are there, and in connection with the air pollutant, particulates and others, respirable particulates and others, and the air pollution index is very high, and it is everybody knows. But in Calcutta, how many places you see that? How much is the air pollution index? How much is the respirable particulate? Because we do not focus that much. So the problems are there. So we do not. So We do not hide the problem, we have to fight. So now with respect to noise, yes, we worked the first with the support of the Pollution Control Board, we worked with the noise problems. And we have instituted the regulations. We have introduced the 65 decibel those time, and started with the puja time or the festival time and other issues. So all these issues it takes a long time to discuss. But the thing is that solution is in our hand. Our wisdom must we must have a positive way. We do not avoid the problem. We solution, yes, solution can be made. And as I know, your college is nearby in the Bantol area. The Bantol area, I worked a couple of years there in the wastewater, solid waste and all. And in fact, what the scenario? Neither the solid waste is properly managed, nor the wastewater is treated. Entire wastewater, city wastewater, goes to Guchirghata and to Bidadur. Where it goes? It goes entirely to the Sundarban, mangrove estuary. So, where is the wisdom? Where is the wisdom? Wisdom is, you know, the leather complex problem. See, once upon a time, Tangra area is full of tanneries, private tanneries and big commercial tanneries and all. With the Supreme Court case, that was shifted. But to a large number of tanneries, still small tanneries and household tanneries still remain. But all the tannery waste spread over, right from Tangra to the entire new complex. How much wisdom we are putting into the tannery wastewater treatment? It's not that the only one common effluent treatment plant is. What about the solid waste emerging out of the tannery? What are the uh, uh, proper way of disposal or utilization or something? No waste cannot be thrown away because waste to wealth. Only thing we need to have some kind of technology. Yes, biotechnology is one of the parts that can be applied uh, in a proper way to solve the problem. Tannery waste is not a problem, but if you really do some kind of good application of it, it can. But wisdom is important and not a piecemeal manner. It's a bigger way, commercial way. We have to go for that. So a lot of issues are there. I'm sorry that I have taken a little bit more time because it's such a issue that you wanted whether the solution is our hand or not. Yes, we have solution in our hand. Law cannot. Only the Act, Air Act and Water Act, Pollution Prevention and Control Act will not solve. Initially, when the Act was made, the target was to how to pressurize the industries. No, it's not that the only industry is the but after the Environment Protection Act of 1986 and a lot of other subsequent acts, minor acts, we are coming. We're strong in environmental. No more the environmental act is required as such. Only the regulation and notification is enough because that power is there in the Environment Protection Act. But the only thing is that how to apply, where to apply, what will be the best way of solution? That's the issue of solution. And until and unless citizens concerned, all level of people, citizen concerns are there. Until and unless people's civil society come forward to look at the issue of solution to be implemented, what are the options are, how to utilize that in the grassroots level. Look, if you talk of the Delhi issues, everybody knows about the crop burning issues, one of the major constraints in Haryana, Punjab is a major concern, and that has a problem, the capital city of Delhi, particularly with respect to Jamuna pollution also, same. Everybody knows about the, in spite of the so many acts, the water quality is so deteriorated in Jamuna, but people are but taking bath, taking everything, but nobody is bothered. So unless you have to have a approach of mind that we have to have a clean environment, clean air to breathe, clean water to drink, and comparatively silent in our neighborhood. We cannot. You know, we do not have a zonal map. We do not have a zonal map. The residential, industrial, and all these as the residential, industrial, commercial zonal map. None of the city we build up in a proper manner. That zoning should be made in a proper way, and there should be a long-term uh, solution, target specific solution. We until now, if we thought a new way of life, new thought of in the life process, we cannot achieve the goal. So the young boys and girls, those who are in the field of research and those who are in the field of applications, my request to them, understand the problems carefully. Laws, we have enough laws, enough regulation, doesn't require any more. But we need to have proper grassroots level dialogue, civil society movement, and we need to have proper application of scientific knowledge, technological knowledge, biological knowledge to apply in the field. So, friends, I don't know because with a short notice, I could not able to give you some of the our work in a representative form. If if time permits in future, uh, I will see you in physical mode and give some of our uh, study report and observations to PowerPoint. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, sir, for your all enlightening speech. Am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Thank you. Sir, it was a great pleasure for us for taking time from your busy schedule to be the guest speaker at our conference. Your present and wise word really motivated our all participants. Thank you. Thank you once again. Now, I would like to request President of IIC-BIT, Professor Orpita Chakraborty Madam, present the e-certificate to our today's guest. Orpita Di, over to you.
Yes, sir, it was. Thank you so much. It was really an enlightening session, and your words of wisdom we will follow. Yes, due to time constraints, we couldn't get the opportunity to hear you more, but hope to see you once again in near future, sir. Thank you once again. Shanti, I'm sharing the screen, just check. Is the screen visible? Shanti, please respond.
Yes, it is coming. Starting share content. Yes, it is visible.
Thank you so much, sir, once again.
Okay.
Thank you, Professor Orpita Chakraborty Madam. Now we have our next session, panel discussion of our own faculty and student of BIT. For the next session, Fareen will call one by one our speakers. Fareen, over to you.
Moving on, I would like to call one by one all the speakers, starting with Dr. Tapan Kumar Pal sir from the Biotechnology department. So,
Okay, am I audible?
yes,
Okay. Shanti, please share my slide. I'm not able to do this.
Vishwajit, please share slide. Yes, sir. Vishwajit is hearing.
Thank you. Is it visible? Okay, okay. So today is a one kind of very important days that we are celebrating the National Pollution Day, and we already Professor Shatrak said that there are a lot of problem that is in all over the world, that soil pollutions, and there are water pollution, noise pollutions. But one thing is also very important, that is called the biological pollution. Basically, this is also happens in the in the home also. Now, what is called biological pollution? Biological pollutants are the substances in our environment which come from living organisms and can affect our health. So there are different kind of sources of biological pollutants are there. One is pollens, that is originate from the plants. The virus which is transmitted by the people and animals, that is present in infected person, that is present in homes. There are different mold species that is also very much able to grow if the water content, it is the moisture content present in home area. Bacteria that also can carry by different infected peoples, animals, pet animals, the soils, plant debris that we are bringing in the home. There are different household pets are also there in different homes. So they are also source of saliva, animal, dunkers, etc. Droppings and body parts from the cockroaches, rodents, and other pests or insects. So they also contribute lot of biological pollutants. Viruses and bacteria, the protein of in urine from the rats and mice is a potent allergen in some peoples. When it is dries, it can becomes airborne. Now, contaminated central air handling system, that is, if they are living in multi-stories building, so they have some central air handling systems are there. So if these are contaminated by mold and other living organisms, so that can be spread through this central air handling system. So that's why there are a lot of sources that we have harbored different kind of biological pollution within our home. Now, if we just analyze some what are the different conditions that can create a more potent biological pollutant that within our home area. Dirty air conditioner. This is another important source of contaminants. Dirty humidifiers, bathroom without vents or window. So this is also very important. Nowadays we are go to the shifting to the smaller home for any kind of 1 BK home. So I think if the area is narrowing down, so there is a lot of problem that we have. Kitchens without vents or windows. So this is also very important. If there is no windows or vent for proper kitchen activities, then there are a lot of biological pollutant that can be spread. Dirty refrigerator, laundry rooms, and unventilated attic. So these are some of the area from which the biological pollutants can come. Next slide. Now, most of the biological pollutants basically triggers allergic reaction because they contains the proteins. So proteins are basically called the allergen. So all are not allergen, but some people they are, if he can contact with that kind of biological pollutants, so they shows the allergic reaction. So this is hypersensitivity, pneumonitis, allergic rhinitis, some types of asthma. So they are facing. So infectious illness such as influenza, measles, chicken pox are transmitted through the air, and molds and mildews release disease causing the toxin. So actually what happens if our home is contaminated with different kind of biological pollutant, this is another kind of hazardous situation that can arise. Nowadays, we are more trying to expend our time within our home. But if the home is not properly maintained, there is a very severe problem that can faces by the biological pollutants. So next slide. Now there are different kind of symptoms. We have sneezing, water eyes, coughing, shortness of breath, dizziness, lethargy, fever, and digestive problems. So these are some of the symptoms that can be causes by the biological pollutants. Next slide. Now, so if we go to the individuals, but if we look at the diversified manner, there are different kind of adverse effect can be also sees in biological organisms, organizations. For example, in individual organisms. So there are internal pollution by parasites or pesticides. So specific uh, a parasites or a pathogen that can interact with the people and that can infect the peoples. There are other things that a populations particularly is also can have a adverse effect by biological pollutions, by genetic changes like this. The community of bioconsonists, the structural shift is also maybe causes by this kind of biological pollutants. Sometimes habitats of particular community, either in insects and other things, they also modify this. And all over that, the ecosystem is also changes by these biological pollutants. Next slide. Next slide. Now, if you go to the a kind of worldwide scenario, biopollutions may also causes decline in naturalness of natural conservation area. That means if there are pollutants are coming, that is not this is called hazardous pollutants like virus, like pathogenic virus, like pathogenic bacteria. If they are accumulating in a such an area, that means there is a naturalness of natural conservations is also hampered. Adverse economic consequence and impact on human health is also can be affected by these biological pollutants. Next slide. Now, what are our basic things that we have to do to minimize these biological pollutants? So basically, if you just look at the home, within our home, the proper cleaning and maintaining your home can help reduce this problem. and may avoid interrupting your normal routines. Apart from that, moisture control system is also very important. Maintaining and cleaning all the appliances that come in contact with the water, because water is very important for growth of the various kind of biological components like the bacteria, like parasites, like other components. And dust control is also very important, but not a biological pollutants. I think there are one kind of solution. We can think about that. There are some indoor plants are also there. So these indoor plants can control some of the ecology within our system, because they can some plants can suck some dust, or they can produce some oxygens and other things. So these are uh, some kind of a solution that we can have. Proper ventilations, proper sanitization. So I think if we look all these things, this is not very laborious, but if we maintain all these things, we can reduce the biological pollutants. So not only the air and other pollutants are also there, but biological pollutants is, I think, nowadays, because we are shifting to a smaller one. So that's why the aeration, ventilation is also reduces. So that's why the biological pollutants is also very important. So if you look at that, you can breathe health within your home if we maintain this kind of system. Okay, so back to
Thank you,
Shayanti.
sir. Next, we have Debolina Das Didi from third year ECE department.
Thank you, Farin. Sir, can you please make me presenter?
Vishwajit, can you please share her slide?
Just a minute.
Okay, okay.
Okay.
Good evening, everyone. I am Deblina Dash from Electronics and Communication Department, third year. Today, I am excited to share with you about the most aware topic, that is pollution, and I will be talking about air pollution and its solution. Next slide, please. Pollution. Pollution is the introduction of harmful materials into the environment. These harmful materials are called pollutants. Pollutants can be natural, such as volcanic ash. They can also be created by human activity, such as trash or runoff produced by factories. Pollutants damage the quality of air, water, and land. Next slide. Let's talk about air pollution. Air pollution is the contamination of the indoor or outdoor environment by any chemical, physical, or biological agent that modifies the natural characteristics of the atmosphere. Household combustion devices, motor vehicles, industrial facilities, the burning plastics, and forest fires are common sources of air pollution. Pollutants of major public health concern include particulate matter, carbon monoxide, ozone, nitrogen dioxide, and sulfur dioxide. Outdoor and indoor air pollution cause respiratory and other disease and is an important source of morbidity and mortality. Air pollution kills an estimated 7 million people worldwide every year, who data shows that almost all of the global population breathe air that exceeds WHO guideline limits containing high levels of pollutants. The low and middle income countries suffering from the highest exposures. The COVID-19 pandemic has highlighted the urgency to address India's chronic problem of air pollution. An April 22 report by the Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health has established the correlation between long-term exposure to and air pollution and COVID-19 mortality. People living in high pollution cities are more likely to have compromised respiratory, cardiac, and other systems and are therefore more vulnerable to COVID-19 impacts. Now, I will just have a focus on greenhouse gases. By trapping the Earth's heat in the atmosphere, greenhouse gases lead to warmer temperatures, which in turn lead to the hallmarks of climate change: rising sea levels, more extreme water, heat-related deaths, and the increased transmissions of infectious diseases. In 2018, carbon dioxide accounted for 81% of the country's total greenhouse gas emission. Next slide, please. So, how to reduce it? The impressive solution to air pollution. The number one biggest thing that we can do is to drive less. Make good choices about transportations. Vehicle emissions are one of the major sources of air pollution. If we must drive, we can switch to electric vehicles. We can try to conserve energy as much as possible at home, at work, everywhere. Conserve energy in our home by turning off lights and appliances when we don't need them. Mulch or compost leaves and yard waste rather than just pollute our environment. Keep lots of plants around the house. Make a hobby to plant trees in our garden or in our locality. Recycle and reuse. The concept of recycle and reuse is not just conserve resources and use them judicially, but also is helpful for air pollution as it helps in reducing pollution emissions. No to plastic bags. The use of plastic products could be very harmful to the environment as they take a very long time to decompose due to their material made up of oil. The use of paper bags instead is a better alternative as they decompose easily and they are recyclable. There are more ways to reduce the air pollution we can go through. Next slide. If we take small steps every day and one day we will reach our goal, each step we will take will reveal a new horizon. Taking the first step today, now we have to challenge ourselves to take another tomorrow. We will learn that the key is not to focus not on success, but rather the significance. It's then we will understand that the small steps and the little victories along our path will lead to on great meaning, that is to breathe in a pollution-free air. Thank you.
Thank you, Devlina Di. Next, we have Dr. Subrata Chakraborty ma'am from BSH department.
Thank you, Farin. Good evening to everyone. Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay, for celebration
Ma'am,
of
you are audible.
Okay, for celebration of Pollution Control Day, our today's topic is be a part of the solution, not a part of the pollution. Okay, so today I am discussing only a part of water pollution. That is, I am discussing only cultural eutrophication. So water pollution, it is a broad term that describes any kind of contamination of bodies of water like river, lake, pond, etc. We know there are so many water pollutants like pesticides, heavy metals, radioactive substance, chemicals, heat, etc. But cultural eutrophication, it is considered to be a water pollutant. Eutrophication, it is a major environmental concern for lakes and ponds, etc. The natural enrichment of water with nutrients, especially nitrogen and phosphorus, etc., is known as eutrophication. Eutrophication, which is not considered to be a matter of water pollution because it takes naturally and supplies balanced nutrient for aquatic life. But chemical fertilizer, industrial wastage, agricultural runoff, domestic sewage contributed large quantities of nutrients, which accelerate natural eutrophication process. These accelerated nutrient enrichment in natural water body, it is known as cultural that leads to bloom of algae. Bloom of algae, it is a situation when the algal growth covers the lake, which eventually die and decompose. And their decomposition removes oxygen from water bodies. So DO level, as a result, DO means dissolved oxygen. So DO level will be decreases. This DO level is insufficient to sustain normal aquatic life. So algae and decaying organic matter add color, turbidity, objectionable taste, etc. to water that greatly reduce its acceptability as a domestic water source. So due to this man-made eutrophication, water body changes from oligotrophic to eutrophic. Ultimately, lakes and ponds get dried up. Okay, so for what is the solution for this cultural eutrophication? So eutrophication can be controlled by controlling of the nutrient like nitrogen, phosphorus. So to minimize the presence of phosphate and nitrates in the water body, we should substitute nitrate and phosphate fertilizer with compost manure. Compost manure does not contain high elements of nitrate and phosphates that causes eutrophication. So all essential elements of compost manure are broken down and synthesized by plants avoiding eutrophication cycle. So human sources of phosphorus includes agricultural runoff in heavily fertilized area and domestic sewage. So phosphorus in the it is the strong stimulator of algal growth. Detergent contain large amount of phosphorus. When that was released during degradation, the phosphorus act as a stimulator to algal growth. So phosphorus in the detergent is usually in the form of STP, means sodium triphosphates. And after reaction with water, it will form orthophosphate. So phosphorus, when it form orthophosphate, then phosphorus that is directly usable by plants. So it immediately begins to act as a fertilizer once it is released. So for the environmental effects of phosphorus has led to reduction in its use in detergent. So STP may be replaced by NTA, that is sodium triacetate. Okay. And next, for controlling nutrient concentration in water bodies, industries, municipalities, as well as individuals should work together. Government should create laws and policies against non-point pollution. And EPA, that is Environmental Protection Agency, points out that non-point pollution causes biggest challenge in eutrophication control. Controlling nutrient sources can greatly reduce eutrophication. The policies should aim at enhancing high water quality standard while discouraging pollution. Thank you, all of you.
Thank you, ma'am. Next, we have Audrija Mahato Didi from CSE Department, third year.
Am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Thank you very much, Fareen. I am Advita from the CAC department in my third year, and today's topic of discussion is to be a solution and not a part of the pollution. And my topic today is noise pollution. So, like, could you kindly please share my presentation?
Sujit sir, please share Audrija's slide, PPT slide.
Slide.
Yes, I'm sending to you.
Okay, so I
Yes,
have
Advita,
actually
Sari is
assigned.
sharing.
No, no. Okay, so I have also in a presenter, so you can share also. Okay.
Yes, Advita, I make you presenter. You can share yourself also.
Ma'am, I've not. Is my
Yes,
screen
Advita,
visible?
your skin is visible.
Okay, so first of all, let's talk about what exactly pollution is. So, the undesirable changes in the physical, chemical, or biological characters of nature which causes harm to living creatures is pollution, and any agent that causes pollution is known as a pollutant. Pollutant can be in various forms that can be natural or man-made. Next is my topic, sound pollution or noise pollution. Unnecessary sounds that are produced by the blaring of horns, machines, automobiles, loudspeakers, or any other agent is that is harmful for humans and other living creatures is known as sound pollution. Noises caused by physical pollution that affects man directly without affecting the life supporting system, that is air, water, and soil. So without any of these contaminations, natural contaminations, the kind of pollution that causes harm to human beings or any kind of living creatures is sound pollution. So what are the sources? Burning of crackers, blasting of any kind, bulldozing, construction sites, automobiles, honking of horns, using of weapons, agricultural equipments like tractors, threshers, grass mowers, public address systems, music concerts, loudspeakers, demonstrations are all sources of sound pollution. So, what are the adverse effects of sound pollution? So, according to the World Health Organization, a recommended noise of less than 75 decibels for industries is allowed, and in residential areas, 50. 50 decibels is allowed, but it is usually not followed. So, in such cases, there are obviously adverse effects that the sound pollution causes, such as hearing impairments, damaging of sensory cells made for hearing, damaging the eardrums and ear ossicles, sleeplessness, that is also known as insomnia, anxiety, hypertension, damaging night vision and color perception, disturbs concentration, because hormonal imbalance causes emotional disturbances. So these are some of the adverse effects of sound pollution. Then we have the controls. How can we manage or find solution to control sound pollution? First of all, if we plant trees, 4 to 5 rows of trees on both sides of roads and highways, it provides a green muffler which reduces noise pollution. To restrict the use of loudspeakers and amplifiers for senior citizens, aged people, and children. Ear mufflers or cotton earplugs can be used in noisy areas. Industries or industrial areas must be located away from populated areas. And the best thing that we can do is move away from the source of noise, which usually is not possible, but at least we can try. So our main question is that whether we can find a solution to any kind of pollution or not. Yes, there is. If we begin with self-awareness, only then can we, excuse me, only then can we make the others aware of the harmful effects of pollution, be it air, water, or sound. So at the end of the day, what matters is uh, how we as citizens can make ourselves aware of the situation of the kind of adversities that pollution causes, such as global warming and climate changes. And in case of sound pollution, the way it damages the human body or any living creature in general. So it's something that we should reflect on. That's all for today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Audrey Di. Next, we have Professor Ajanta Palit ma'am from ECE department.
Thank you. Good evening to all of you. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Shayanti, please share my slides.
Vishwajit, please share Madam slide.
Respected teachers and my dear students, good evening to all of you. I am Mrs. Ajanta Palit, Department of ECE in BIT College, Kolkata. I'm an assistant professor. I'm really privileged to be a part of this IIC team. And this topic is be a part of the solution, not the part of the pollution. Next slide, please. So what is the air pollution? The pollutants are found all over the world, and some from the natural sources and some from the man-made sources. They can harm our health and the environment and can cause the property damage also. So these harmful condition of air actually is called the air pollution. Next slide, please. Now the air pollutants, generally the main air pollutants are carbon monoxide, lead, ground level ozone, particulate matter, nitrogen dioxide, and sulfur dioxide. Next slide, please. So what is a carbon monoxide? The symbol of carbon monoxide is CO. The incomplete oxidation of carbon results in the production of carbon monoxide. Natural CO formation can occur from the photochemical reactions in the troposphere, the volcanic eruption, and the forest fires, etc. So breathing air with a high concentration of carbon monoxide actually reduces the amount of oxygen that can be transported in the bloodstream to critical organs of human beings like the heart and brain. So at very high levels, which are possible indoors or in other enclosed environments, carbon monoxide can cause dizziness, confusion, unconsciousness, and death also. Next slide, please. Lead. This is also a very toxic element and considered as the air pollutant. Once taken into the body, lead distributes throughout the body in the blood, and it is accumulated in the bones also. So depending on the level of the exposure, lead can adversely affect our nervous system, the kidney function, the immunity system, reproductive system, and the developmental systems and the cardiovascular system. So lead exposure can also affect the oxygen carrying capacity of the blood. Next slide, please. Ground level ozone. So ozone actually is formed in the atmosphere when energetic ultraviolet radiation dissociates molecules of oxygen. So O2 in separate oxygen atoms. Free oxygen atoms can recombine to form the oxygen molecules, but if a free oxygen atom, that is O minus 2, collides with an oxygen molecule O2, it joins up forming the ozone O3. Now, these are actually the causes. Now, how to control the air pollution? Next slide, please. How to control the air pollution? There are different ways of air pollution can be possible. Now, how to control it? We have our using public transports. So why to use the public transports? Because these are the transports generally tested, pollution emission test in frequent manner by the government and by the transport authority. Turn off the lights actually when not in use. Why? Because the power is also wasted because we are turning on the light all the time, and it creates unnecessary radiation and pollution gases also. Then recycle and reuse. This is the most globally important terms using, because this is the recycling is the most effective method of removing the or controlling the pollution. So no to plastic bags. Yes, we should say no to plastic bags, because some plastics we cannot do the recycling and reusing. Next slide, please. How to control air pollution? There are different methods like reduction of forest fires and smoking. We should remember that one tree and one life. Save tree and save life. So the forest fire should be removed, and the deforestation should be done, not that should be demolished by the government. Use of fans instead of air conditioners, because when we use the air conditioners in a confined room, the gas and fumes are creating the pollution. Use filters for the chimneys of the factories, because there are so many pollutant gases are coming from the chimneys of the factories in the industrial area. So we should use filters in there. Next slide, please. Avoid the usage of crackers. Yes, the crackers are the most pollutant things. The smokes coming from these crackers are the most pollutants, and it is polluting all the metro cities so much, like Delhi, Calcutta, Chennai, and Mumbai. So it creates air and sound pollution also. Now it has been ordered by the court also that we should use the green and eco-friendly crackers. Next, to say avoiding using of products with chemicals. We can see that all the chemicals have the so much bad effects in our skins and everywhere. So we should avoid the using of product with chemicals. Next, implement afforestation. So ban the deforestation and implement afforestation should be done by us, and it should be implemented by our government and higher authority also, because plantation must be there. The government is also taking care for this. As we know, one plant, one life. Save tree, save life. These are the global slogans nowadays. Next slide, please. So I am very privileged. I am thanking you to all of you. So thank you all. Over to Shanti.
Thank you, ma'am. Next, we have Sampurna Roy, from Biotechnology Department of third year.
Good evening. Am I audible? Am I audible?
Yes. Wow.
Yes.
Thank
Yes,
you,
yes.
Karin. Sir, can you please share my screen? Okay, I'm in the presenter.
You can share your screen, Sampurna.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening, everyone. I'm Sampurna Roy from the Department of Biotechnology. I'm a student of third year, and today we are talking about be a part of the solution and not a part of the pollution. Already, Shubrata ma'am and Santra sir has discussed about water pollution. However, I want to add a few more things to it. But before I start, I want to state a quote, that is, the rising pollution meter in the water bodies forms a severe threat to all forms of life in the earth. And therefore, we are supposed to discuss a solution to reduce the threat of water pollution. But before we start, it is important to know what pollution actually is. Pollution is a threat to today's world. Harmful contaminants, when introduced to the environment, causes severe impact on the ecosystem and the lifestyle of living organisms. In my case, I'm talking about water pollution, and water pollution is termed as the introduction of unsafe substances that are harmful for humans and the aquatic ecosystem. Okay, so it is necessary for us to understand the situation in India caused due to water pollution. Apart from what is mentioned by Shantra sir, that the arsenic is a major issue that has disturbed the crops growth. Other things such as cultural eutrophication, as mentioned by Shubrata ma'am, decreases the quality of water. Water also forms a constant particle that contaminates our daily life by causing unpleasant impact on it. The World Economic Forum said that 70% of the wastewater in India are left untreated. Now we have only 4% of renewable water sources in India, and out of which 70% of wastewater is left untreated. That is a severe threat to the country. This threat has resulted in deaths of 2.3 million Indians, out of which 1.5 million Indian children dies from waterborne diseases. A range of solutions to restore the quality of water can be discussed. First, we should focus on reducing the use of plastic. Plastic forms a major factor that has been constantly affecting the quality of water. Reducing or eliminating the use of plastic will support us to reduce water pollution. We can also focus on using organic water filters that includes active carbon in it. Now, active carbon acts as an entity that absorbs pollutants from the wastewater and converts it to a pure form of water within 30 minutes, and it is odorless and can be used by humans. Another initiative called the Adaptan Island Initiative was taken, that is artificial island is created, and on top of that island artificial plants are planted. These plants have the ability to absorb water from water bodies, absorb pollutants from the water bodies. Now once they are absorbing the pollutants, the quality of water gets restored. Another way to restore the quality of water is treating oil spills using human hair. Alongside, India has also constantly progressed in technology and has developed a AI-powered sewer scanning robot that uses predictive analysis to determine the flow of wastewater. To conclude, as said earlier, 4% of world's renewable water is left in India, and plastic present in water forms a threat to the aquatic life as well as our lives. Now we are regularly using plastic, and we should start focusing on decreasing the use of plastic. Once we start eliminating plastic from our life, we can think about reducing water pollution. Another main thing that we can focus on is educating people. In the beginning of the meeting, Shantra sir said that control of pollution is in our hand, and therefore a small initiative taken by every citizen will support us to eradicate the threat of water pollution one day. Thank you.
Thank you, Shampurna Di. Next, we have Shivani Kumari Didi from IT Department of third year.
Am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Thank you so much, Fareen. Ma'am, can you share my slide?
Vani, you can share your own slide. I make you present.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, is it visible?
Yes. Yes,
It's
Shivani,
visible.
continue.
Visible.
Uh, Good evening to all. My name is Shivani Kumari of IT third year from my beloved college, Bengal Institute of Technology. And today, on the occasion of National Pollution Control Day, I am here to discuss on the dangers of global warming, which is based on the theme be a part of the solution, not a part of the pollution. So, what is global warming? Moving to our next slide. Global warming is the process when the earth heats up and temperatures rise. Had heard of the term uh, hello? Ma'am, am I audible?
Yes, yes, Shivani, you please continue.
Okay, ma'am. Had you heard of the term greenhouses? Gas, gases such as carbon dioxide, nitrous oxide, methane, water vapor, etc. Greenhouse gases trap light reflected by the earth and keep the earth warm, but an increase in these gases can lead to the overheating of the earth, termed as global warming. Now I will move to our next slide. Consequences of the global warming and its cause. Greenhouse gases emissions are from mining, landfills, burning of fossil fuels, etc. etc. Higher temperatures are already dragging out droughts and wiping out crops. Himalayan glaciers they provide water to over 240 million people and already melted. Hurricane is getting stronger and more devastating all thanks to climate change. So why does this 1.5 number fit in? Then it's just where there is enough heat to push many natural ecosystems. Past a dangerous point now, temperature rise going above 1.5 degrees will be putting millions more at risk of potentiality life-threatening heat waves in poverty. We humans have already made 1 degree of global warming, but we still have hope. Yes, ma'am. The IPCC report says that we still have a shot at holding global temperatures at 1.5 degrees, but we need to act shift sustainable living so basically cut fossil fuel emissions in half by 2030. So leave oil, gas and coal and make transition to cleaner living and energy. The Kyoto Protocol aiming at reducing greenhouse gas emissions. The Paris Agreement aims at limiting global temperature rise, these etc. All great efforts to save our only habitat, our Earth. We do have a role. We must start using public transport, reduce the overuse of valuable resources, moreover, reuse and recycle. The always a solution to a person problems. So let's work together and save our Earth. And thank you.
Thank you, Shivani Di. Next, we have Professor Nilarun Mukherjee sir from CAC department.
Thank you. Let me present my slide. Is my slide visible?
Yes, Nilarunda, it is
Yes,
visible.
thank you. So thank you everyone for giving me this opportunity to talk on this occasion of International and uh, the Anti-Pollution Day. So first of all, I like to thank all the panel and all the respected teachers and my beloved student and especially the our guest of honor. And my today's topic of discussion is the e-waste management and engineering students perspective. So going by our agenda of be a solution, not the pollution, and I think my presentation will aim for the correct path that aligns itself with the agenda. So we can go on burning the chip and in the hope of getting 1,000 rupees gold out of it. And but remember, we are polluting the air, soil, and water with gases and ashes that will require $1,000 billion in future to fix the harm we made ignorantly today. So my topic that I'm going to say about the e-waste. So what is that? It is the discarded electrical and electronic devices, any of that. So informal processing of e-waste may cause serious health and pollution problems. Electronic scrap components contain contaminants like lead, cadmium, beryllium, brominated flame retardants, and cycling and disposal of e-waste involve significant risk to the workers and the communities. Risk of leakage of heavy metals from the landfills, that is where we dump our e-waste, and the incinerated ashes, where that is where from we burn those things to get back the gold and silver from it. Uh, so that leads to a great risk to the nature, and great care must be taken to avoid unsafe exposure in the recycling operations. So let's look onto the type of the e-waste that we produce day by day. So the mouse and keyboards and other electronic devices, the personal electronic devices like PC, laptops, and everything. Then we have the monitors and laptops, the cell phones, the audio and video equipments, the televisions, the scanners, copiers, the cameras, everything that we use and we either break them, they become faulty or they become obsolete and we throw them out are the e-waste. So what is the threat? India is the fifth biggest producer of e-waste in the world, behind the US, China, Japan, and Germany. And the effect of e-waste constituent that leads to the health hazard. Let's discuss on that. And we have the sources of e-waste, and every e-waste that we produce, and what harmful chemical that it contains, and what causes affects how it affects our health. So we have the PCB glass panels and gaskets in our computer monitors that has lead, and it damages the central and peripheral nervous system, blood systems, and kidney damages, and affects the brain development of the children. Chip resistors and semiconductors has cadmium. They are they have toxic irreversible effect on human health, accumulates in kidney and liver, causes neural damage. The relay and switches and PCB boards also has the mercury. That leads to chronic damage to the brain if they are put inside the human body or any animal body. They also causes respiratory and skin disorders due to bioaccumulation of due to bioaccumulation of fishes. So due to all these, they can lead to huge they have the huge potential of harming the human and animal body. And the plastic housing of electronic and equipments and circuit boards has brominated flame retardants, and that disrupts the endocrine system functions. And cabling and computer housing, they have plastic including PVC. Burning those produces dioxin, and that uh, affects the reproductive and development problems and asthmatic bronchitis, and also affects the immune system and interferences with the regulatory hormones. And there are other also motherboard has beryllium that can lead to lung cancer. Inhalation of fumes while burning this motherboard or that dust causes chronic beryllium diseases and skin diseases such as warts. So now what we do normally in our city, we also see that electronic devices are used, they are thrown away, whether they have become faulty or they are obsolete. Now we have a new one, new mobile, new laptop or something. So that dumps or new monitor that gets dumped on the garbage disposal ground near to us, and then later on in the beside our college. So they are either burnt ignorantly or they left untouched ignorantly. So what happens to that? So this poses a serious environmental risk to our soil, water, air, and wildlife. Microscopic traces of those toxic materials pool into the ground below the landfill. How there is a point I want to add that the rainfall that we have, the soil, they all have acids, and when we just if we keep those things on the in the ground, in the touch of the ground, those acids will slowly over here will melt those things and decompose the decomposable parts of that. All the decomposable parts can get oxidized using those acids, and the lead, mercury, and other harmful thing by which the semiconductors are made will get dissolved in the soil. But that is the start of the problem. If we if burn uh, if burnt, this also mixes with the air also, and we have seen many people just to many of us have seen the garbage is burning here and there to reduce the size of the garbage, and we don't know how much harm we are doing there. Eventually show up in, and those traces eventually show up in the groundwater, whether from the air burn particles or from the acid decomposed extracts, microscopic extracts. They show up in the groundwater deep below the soil, and ultimately mixes with the sources of all fresh water in the surrounding area. Waters in ponds, rivers, oceans, and everywhere. Plants, animals, all of us become their victim because we eat that, we drink that, we eat the food that plant produces on which. So everything becomes contaminated. We eat the fish that takes the water to respirate. So if, by everything, we ultimately become the victim and causes the wildlife to get sick from the lead, arsenic, cadmium, other metal poisonings due to high concentration of these minerals. So virtually all electronic waste, either obsolete to the consumer or broken, contain some recyclable materials like plastic, glass, or metals. Recycling, that is recovering the parts within the devices that still have value, and reusing them in building new ones provides manufacturers with the recycled metals that can be used to make new products, therefore creating an environment friendly source of recycled metals. So to recycling of EVAs, this protects the human environmental health, environment and human and the environmental health. By keeping those devices out of the landfill, this not only is better for the environment and also decreases the need of digging up for new sources of the ore. And every time we recycle our electronics, we are preventing our EVAs from leaching toxic metals into the groundwater, also preventing it from happening at a mine somewhere else. So this is the approach that we have today. but we can have a responsible recycling where the obsolete or broken product enters the recycling process, then we dismantle and shred it to optimal size, then separate the parts and sort them accordingly, and then combine them to build new products. Or we can go for a responsible reuse where the working electronics enter the reuse process, and device details are checked and functionalities are tested and then repaired if necessary, and then old data has to be destroyed permanently and cleaned, and then can be resold at refurbished. So these two things can be done. So we all know, many of us already know that, we are aware of that. If you're not aware, we will be get aware. So as an engineer, as an engineering student, where we can do, what we can contribute. Let's say we have, being an engineer, we are highly educated, we are the technocrats, so we have more responsibility, and these are our brainchilds that are leading to these hazards. So we are not responsible for the oil spills from the in the ocean, we are not responsible other things, but these we have to take the responsibility of, because we create this. So we can do something, we have more responsibility, we know how they work. That's the main thing. No other person know, but we know more than they are. So we know their constituent parts, where those can be reused, how to disassemble them, how to assemble those parts to of many to design and build new devices. So at very low cost, save our money. One compelling motivation is there. So make the wonderful working project devices or prototypes that we can make from those broken things and wonder ourselves. So from those just to be thrown out. So we can also motivate and teach others to do so and save their money. And this will not be only benefit the nature, but us too. So it will enrich our innovative and creative mind, give us a hands-on experience, and boost up our confidence, and may even open up a chance to become a budding entrepreneur. So when we take lots of garbages from others, and we inspect their chips and circuits, and we have an idea with us to build something new as a project, and then if the project succeeds, we can launch a product that is very cost friendly, very low cost, but does something that is very good for the consumer. So this can be an opportunity to become an entrepreneur also, so with the new low cost innovative business ideas. So let's start trying at least. Because always remember, small steps, no matter how insignificant they might be, together they always made a groundbreaking, I will say the ground clearing change. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, sir. Next, we have Professor Udayam Bhattacharya, sir, from Biotechnology Department.
Am I audible?
Yes,
Hello.
sir.
Good evening, everyone. I would like to share a few words about impacts of biological warfare on biodiversity. So first of all, we have to know that what are biological weapons? They are considered the most dangerous of all known weapons of mass destruction. They are used to deliberately cause epidemics among humans, destroy the environmental components including water, air, and soil, and target crops and livestock. Examples of diseases used in biological warfare include anthrax, smallpox, plague, cholera, avian flu, etc. In addition to the catastrophic effects of biological warfare on biodiversity, and the environment, their danger lies in their low cost and rapid spread, as well as their easy preparation, transport, and use. And unlike nuclear and chemical weapons, biological bombs are without order or color and there and therefore cannot be detected. Additionally, bioweapons are dangerous because of their effects on untargeted organisms in a military attack, and the clinical symptoms they create may be difficult to distinguish from normal diseases. The bioweapons or pathogens remain in nature for several years and are able to survive in harsh environmental conditions. So this is a serious threat to natural resources. Bioweapons spread germs that contaminate air, food, water, and overall the environment, causing epidemiological diseases for different living organisms. In case of air, a variety of germs can contaminate air and are used in biological warfare. Fungi are the most common, and they travel by air over long distances to infect healthy plants and animals. And in case of food contamination is also one of the most powerful methods used to carry out biological warfare attacks. Disease is transmitted either directly to humans through contaminated food or drink or indirectly by hosts. And water can spread a number of lethal infectious agents as well. For example, 1 gram of Clostridium tetani poison is able to kill 8 million people within 6 hours. They are so powerful and so dangerous. And actually, these are the threats to biodiversity. Diseases are one of the main drivers of extinction in endangered species. Therefore, disease control is fundamental to preserve biodiversity. Despite the presence of vaccines and drugs for most bioweapons, they may not be available adequate quantities to cope with the epidemiological disease outbreak. Biological attacks pose a threat to naturally rare wild plants and animals and to species whose natural habitats have been degraded by human activities. And furthermore, disease that humans, domestic animals, and domestic plants have been able to develop uh, immunity can be fatal in wild animals and plants. Bioweapons are not only having direct effects on the genetic biodiversity of indigenous species, but also having direct and indirect catastrophic effects on vital plant and animal communities. So threats are different on animal and plant biodiversity. Actually, microbes can be used to crop destruction. For instance, rice blast is a disease affecting rice and therefore leads to crop destruction and genetic changes in the plant. In fact, these biological weapons can ruin agriculture of a country. And in the conclusion, we can say that the discussion about controlling destructive bioweapons is growing as they pose a vast danger to both humanity and the environment alike. Any failure to prevent biological attack can lead to the deterioration of genetic diversity in animals and plants, the extinction of endangered species, and the destruction of human livelihoods and traditional cultures. And biotechnology has increased the economical value of genetic diversity of living organisms. Hence, it has increased the risk of eliminating genetic diversity through the use of genetically modified organisms, bioweapons. Most of all, the environment will be the silent victim of this war. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, all of. Thank you. Am I audible?
Yes, Shanti.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, all of our own faculty members and students for your speech that make our panel discussion session and conclave a successful one. Thank you. Thanks one.